Welcome to TTM Cast, your sports collectibles podcast. Sponsored by CGC Cards, card grading all in one place. CGC Cards is devoted to expert grading of collectible cards, including TCGs, sports cards, and non-sports cards. And by sportscollectorsdaily.com. If it happens in the hobby, you'll find it on sportscollectorsdaily.com. And sponsored by GemRate.com. The latest grading statistic from the 4 major grading companies is just a click away. Visit GemRate.com. It's free. And now, here's our host, Drew Pelto.
Well, hello, everybody. We are coming to you once again here with TTM Cast, your sports collectibles podcast. It's a place where we talk about all things related to TTM, cards, autographs, collecting, whatever else comes to mind. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff in there. This is season 7, episode 7. Lucky 7s across the board here as we are on February the 15th, not the 7th, unfortunately. But I filled as many 7s as I could there on this nationally ranked sports collectibles podcast. I am Drew Pelto. I am the host of the show. I'm coming to you from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We're joined, of course, in the co-host seat by Aaron Littleton on the road right now, coming to us from a hotel there. So, Aaron, good to have you on board once again.
It's great to be here, as always. Yes, I am in very foggy Cleburne, Texas. We got to meet in the morning very early. My first session starts at 8 a.m. So yeah, we're in a hotel, and but the work doesn't stop, so we're grinding it out.
The weather is slightly different from what we're used to during baseball season there in Cleburne. Then
it is very cold and yeah, foggy.
Nice. Well, taking a look at some sports stuff from the week. Did you get a chance to watch the Super Bowl at all?
Did actually. I got myself some pizza and watched it. Yeah, so I was very happy. Taylor Swift no longer a problem. We've eradicated her from American sports. So good on us.
We'll see. I mean, give it a few months here. She'll be back, I'm sure. But
it's like Groundhog. She's like the Punxsutawney Phil. Like, are we gonna have 6 more weeks of football or what?
Yeah, exactly. But I got to say, overall, though, I mean, I will say I was cheering for the Chiefs, but not like massively so. I don't mind that the Eagles won it, but my God, that was one of the 10 worst Super Bowls I think that's ever been played. It's just, I mean, completely one-sided for what? Like the first 40 minutes or so of it. I mean, Chiefs finally started to make a game of it late, but my God, it was just unwatchable just about at times, it seemed like.
I mean, it was pretty heavy beatdown as far as, the scoreboard was concerned for most of it. I kept thinking, well, this is going to be the time when the Chiefs get it going. This is going to be the time when the Chiefs get it going. And it just, it never really happened on in a way that threatened the outcome of the game in any sort of meaningful fashion.
I mean, the Patriots and Rams one several years ago. I've got to put it, there's one of the worst ones of my lifetime. The Seattle-Denver beat down back in 2014 that would have been. That's got to be up there. And that Ravens over the Giants one. I mean, those are probably the 3 worst. And this one, I think you could just about put it right in there with it. I mean, you look at the final score, it just does not reflect how the game went at all.
No, absolutely. And I noticed that too. I was like, man, they're going to make this look at least somewhat decent. And it was not for most of the game. It was a runaway.
Baseball news, Alex Bregman, the final big name free agent we mentioned last week, that he was the last big one out there. He has gone to the Red Sox. So, kind of surprised, not really surprised. It seemed like they were the front runners at first and kind of faded for a while. And then they end up, landing him here this week. So good for them, I guess. I guess we'll see.
Yeah. And so the thing is, if you're looking to go to a hardware store to buy yourself a trash can, you better do it here pretty soon in Boston. Oh, yeah, Alex Cora and Bregman back together. Something else, man.
Yeah. I was looking at the list of free agents right now because I'm still, I'm getting stuff together for spring training. I'm leaving in 5 days from now. We're recording this on the 14th, by the way, even though it's going up on the 15th. But leaving town Wednesday, and I'm still pulling, last minute stuff, making changes for guys. And I was just looking through, and as of right now, yeah, there's, no real big free agents left at all. I mean, there's 13 of them left that had a WAR of 1 or higher last season. That's not asking much to get a WAR of 1 for a guy. So for them to have only 13 left that had 1 or more, yeah, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel, it seems like, at this point now.
Yeah, indeed. I haven't really been paying that closely attention to it. Maybe I should pay more attention. But the Rangers didn't seem like they were going to be big players, so uh, I wasn't constantly watching the hot stove this year.
Yeah. Take a look at the week in collectibles here. I mentioned last week I had ordered up a Topps Jumbo box, and I didn't see any shipping info on it. I'm sitting there, getting like, come on, guys, I've got a week before I leave here. It hasn't gotten here yet. There's no shipping info. They literally got the shipping info updated on the 11th. The card box arrived on the 12th, and I was able to do a break on it. So got that all dug out and pulled two Paul Skeens jersey cards out of there. So pretty happy with what I found in there. Got a bunch of stuff I'll be taking out to Arizona with me and a bunch of decent inserts. And for anyone who wants to check that out, I am bringing back my YouTube channel. So go and check it out at youtube.com/DFWgrapher. I did a full pack-by-pack break on that, just showing everything off that I got in there. Matt Olson was the autograph in the box, so not anybody I've gotten before, not a huge one, but not terrible either, so pretty happy with that. So go and follow my YouTube channel if you haven't already done that. Aaron, what have you pulled in here? Find anything good?
So for the first thing, when are you retiring off those two Paul Skeens jersey cards you pulled?
They're up for sale right now. I did list both of them on eBay just to see what I get for them, and so far no bids yet or anything. But it's a 5-day auction, so it'll end I think on something like the 17th. I think so. I think I list them late on the day on the 12th, so they'll end just before I leave. So, but yeah, we'll see if I get anything for them. See if it attracts any bids or anything. So yeah,
Absolutely. You might be going to spring training in a Ferrari. You never know.
I wouldn't say that.
So for my week, I did get two new parallels in for the Michael Young 2024 Archives set. And one of them was the blue to 25. So that's one of the more, I would assume, to be sought after ones, one of the lower number parallels. And then I also got I think it's just called the foil one, and it looks like raindrop. It's got like a pattern on it, so that one was pretty cool. So I'm making some headway on that. I've got most of the lower number parallels. The only one that I'm missing, of course, is the foil fractor, which is one of one. That one, to my knowledge, has not surfaced yet. I feel like I've got a few people I'm friends with who know that I collect Michael Young pretty heavily, and I normally hear about things like that. Get somebody send me a message. So hopefully that one hasn't been pulled in. I haven't missed it. And so I'm just, waiting on that to happen.
Cox already has it buried in his collection or something like that.
Yeah, that might be it. But the weird thing was, I saw a 2004 Bowman Heritage printing plate come up on eBay for Michael Young. And that was 2004 was the first real year that Michael had a decent amount of cards, and so very early on in his career. And so I was able to pull that one down, one of one, the yellow printing plate from that set, the one that looks like the TV. I'm sure you'll know what year that is, but I don't off the top of my head.
That's 1955 for the original, was the TV style one.
There you go. Yeah, so 1955 remake on that one. But yeah, it's a good looking plate, and so I was happy to pull that one down. So yeah, that's what happened to me this week.
Nice. Good stuff. Always good to add a few Michael Youngs into the collection there. So, well, for this week's show, we were hoping to have Les Wolf on, but when I messaged him early in the week, he said, yeah, I'm out of town. So, no luck on getting Les on here before we take the spring training break, but we'll just, I guess, talk a little spring training, just anything we can think of about. I know Aaron hasn't been to one in a few years, but he's a spring training graphic vet, so we can get some of his thoughts and opinions on things, just kind of give people advice if it's their first time going out there to spring training, as last year was my first one. So anything is kind of fresh in my mind as to things I forgot about last year, didn't know about, or anything like that. And we'll just talk a little bit about spring training, graphing, spring training, TTMing, all that kind of stuff, because pitchers and catchers have just reported here in the last couple of days. We, of course, have all of our regular segments. We'll have Baker's Dozen to lead things off before we go talking spring training. We'll then have Making the Grade, covering all things from the world of grading here in our hobby. We have the TTM cast stamp for approval, giving our 2 thumbs up to anything from the previous week. Could be something collectibles and sports related. Typically, it's not. Stick around for that. We'll have the Vern Rapp Minute, covering deaths in the world of TTM. Anybody you might have considered writing to if they've passed away, we will let you know about that. And of course, the main reason why this show even exists, the reason why we are here and you are tuned in, it is our TTM returns to finish things off. If you'd like to get a hold of us with any questions, any comments, anything you've got like that, Aaron, what is the email address here for our show?
That email address is ttmcast@yahoo.com.
So there you go. If you have any questions, any comments, feel free to send them our way. If you want to get a hold of me directly, you can find my website at dfwgrapher.com. My email address is dfwgrapher@gmail.com. You can also find me on most social media spots under dfwgrapher. And as I said, YouTube, we're coming back, youtube.com/dfwgrapher. Aaron, where can the people find you?
And so Instagram is the main hub for that. You can find me and all of my Michael Young awesomeness at Aaron Sports Card Explosion. That is Aaron, Arron, because that's how my parents thought Aaron was spelled. They were incorrect. Also, you can find me if you're into ballparks and stuff like that. You can find me at the Eternal Graphing Tour with underscores in between each of those words, and that is where my quest to go to every affiliated ballpark in the land in America and Canada, and sometimes Drew joins me for that. We eat a bunch of crazy food and get some autographs. Yeah, so that's where you can find me on Instagram.
Make sure you follow TTM Cast on Instagram and Blue Sky as well. We're at TTM Cast on those. You can also find us on Twitter at CastTTM. Got it flipped around on there. With that being said, let's go ahead and get things kicked off here with Baker's Dozen.
Baker's Dozen, sponsored by SportsCollectorsDaily.com.
Smart collectors turn to Sports Collectors Daily to stay up to date. From new releases to incredible collections hitting the auction block, news from inside the business of sports collectibles, and much more, Sports Collectors Daily has it, all with no subscription cost. SC Daily also delivers a live look at the most watched sports card auctions on eBay for every sport. Sign up to get the headlines in your email for free, or just visit the website whenever you like. With 16,000 stories in the archive going back 16 years, there's always plenty to read at sportscollectorsdaily.com.
Baker's Dozen is a summary of all things around the world of collectibles news. I want to remind you, of course, that I do have a weekly article on sportscollectorsdaily.com. They are a great source for all of the news that you'll need in the collectibles world, including my column on TTM stuff, where this week I talk a little bit about, what did I talk about? Oh, yeah, I talk about what cards to send out, because people sometimes say, hey, what card should I send out to this guy? And so I give a few ideas on what to go with when you're trying to maximize the coolness of your TTM collection. So go check it out, sportscollectorsdaily.com. Also, get yourself a t-shirt. TTM Cast store can be found at ttmcast.com. Click the top banner there. Find yourself a shirt. We've got a hoodie up there, some hats, some stickers, various stuff on there. Go and check it all out, ttmcast.com. Taking a look, we've got some new releases upcoming here. We're going to cover stuff from the next 2 weeks, since we're going to be taking a couple of weeks off here. Starting in the world of hockey, we've got the 24-25 O-Pee-Chee hockey set being offered up by Upper Deck. Comes out on February 19th. In there, you're going to see 10 cards per pack with 18 packs per box. 36 inserts and parallels in those boxes there. So a lot of really cool stuff in there besides all the base stuff that you'll find. Pre-sale price, very affordable, $60.
And also dropping on February 19th, we have 2024-25 Panini Prism Basketball. You'll get 12 cards per pack, 12 packs per box, 2 autos, 22 Prism cards, and 10 other inserts, and the pre-sale price for that is $900.
Moving over to some football here, we've got Topps Chrome Football coming out. February 19th is the release date on that as well. 8 cards per pack, 12 packs per box. You can see 2 autographs in each of those boxes. Pre-sale price on that, $450.
We also have 2023-24 Panini Immaculate Soccer that drops on February 21st. You'll get 7 cards per pack, 1 pack per box. You'll get 5 autographs or memorabilia cards per box, and the pre-sale price for that is a cool $1,000.
If you like some up-and-coming football prospects, Leaf Heroes and Prospects for 2024 will be coming on February 21st as well. A lot of those Leaf products are just a single pack per box. This is one of the few that has 4 cards per pack and 6 packs per box. So get a little bit more out of those ones there. Each pack is going to have 3 base cards and 1 autograph. So a lot of ink going on in that one. Pre-sale price, $110.
Then we also have 2024 Panini Spectra Football that drops on February 21st. You'll get 4 cards per pack, 4 packs per box, 4 autographs, 4 memorabilia cards, and 1 insert per box. And the pre-sale price is $880.
Last one, another football one here. It's the 2024 Panini Illusions football. It'll be coming out about a week after all those. February 26th, the release date on that one. 5 cards per pack, 10 packs per box. You'll see 3 autographs, 2 memorabilia cards, and 5 numbered cards out of every box. Pre-sale price for Illusions, $350. Well, if you want to get a hold of some of those boxes, check out a show near you. We've got 7 of them worth mentioning here over the next couple of weeks. Most of these 2 weeks away. We've also got some that'll be, I think, 3 weeks away on a couple of them there as well. But starting off, we've got the Enfield Card and Memorabilia Show on March 1st. This is in Enfield, Connecticut at the American Legion Post 80. 75 tables set up at this one. Didn't see anything about admission costs, so it might be free admission on it. Not certain on that. They're going to have Jack McDowell out there signing, former pitcher for the White Sox, the Yankees, the Indians. Not sure if there are any others. I know those 3 at least off the top of my head there, but prices on the McDowell autographs start at only $10. If you want to find out more about the Enfield Card and Memorabilia Show, go and check out JB Autographs on Facebook.
Then we also have the Dedham Show that's going on March the 2nd at the Holiday Inn in Dedham, Massachusetts. Admission is only $3. Rudy Rudiger, Vince Papal, and Terry Henretti are all going to be signing there. And for more information about the Dedham Show, you can check out cardboardpromotions.com.
If you're in the Midwest, we've got the Orlando Gardens Show, March 2nd at the Orlando Gardens Mall in St. Louis, Missouri. It's going to be a Mets fest out there, of all things. Kind of weird you'd have a bunch of Mets guys in St. Louis, but just have to be set up that way. They've got Dwight Gooden, Howard Johnson, and Rafael Santana, all members of the 86 Mets World Series team, going to be out there. Mike Heath, also journeyman catcher, is going to be signing at that show as well. STLSportsCollectors.com is the place to go for any info on that. I believe they're taking mail-ins for that as well, so I might have to jump on Santana for that one.
And there's also the Methuen Card Show that's going on March the 2nd at the VFW Hall in Methuen, Massachusetts. Admission for that one is only $2, and Johnny Busick will be signing for $20 there at that show. For more information, you can check out cardshows.net.
A little further down the East Coast, we got the Phillies show coming up here, March 7th through the 9th. The Greater Philly Expo Center plays host to that one, $15 admission cost on that, but this is a big show. 500 tables set up at this thing. You've got 20 signers that have already been confirmed with more possibly to be announced. They've been kind of pitching that a little bit when I checked out Crave the Auto there, that they've got those guys and a lot more on the way. So if you want to get a fully updated list, 'cause there may be more than 20 by now, go and check out phillyshow.com.
There's also the Hamilton Show that'll be going on from March 7th to the 9th at the Spooky Nook Champion Mill, which is now my favorite place on earth, in Hamilton, Ohio. There will be 20 signers there with more to be announced. For more information about that, you can check out Wilder Side of Sports on Facebook.
Yeah, Sleepy Hollow was already taken, so I had to go Spooky Nook as the runner-up name there. So
I'm with it, man. That is a fantastic name.
Absolutely, yeah. Last but not least, Arrows just opened up Oklahoma City a couple weeks ago for a show. Well, coming up, they've got the Oklahoma City Card and Memorabilia Show, March 7th through the 9th. This one is in Yukon, Oklahoma, at the Dale Robertson Center. 5 autograph signers out there. They're all OU football guys, but includes a couple of Heisman winners there in Jason White and Billy Sims. I believe the autograph prices started at $15 on those guys. If you want to check out more info about that, go on Facebook to OKC Sports Card and Memorabilia Show, where they've got all of the info. Well, that about does it for all of this week's news and notes there in Baker's Dozen. As we said in the opener, it's spring training season. Pitchers and catchers have reported. Let's talk a little bit about some stuff here coming up at spring training. I don't really know what to call this segment here. It's not quite Collector's Corner. It's not quite Grapher DIY. So, yeah, we're just kind of winging it on this because, like I said, I was hoping to have Les Wolf on this week. He's got stuff going on, so we had to miss out on him, and I'm kind of scrambling here, but it's something that at least, Aaron and I both know pretty well. Aaron, how many spring trainings have you been to? I know your last one was probably, around like 2012, 2013 or so?
So the last one I did was 2015. And I have been there 4 different times. So the next time I end up going will be the 5th.
Lucky number 5. All right. So just based, I mean, so it's been a while since you've been out there, but from what I can tell, what I've talked about to people, it doesn't seem like stuff has changed that much. What are some of the things that just like when you went into your very first couple of spring trainings, what are the things that you wish that you had known going in there that every collector kind of should know?
Sure. And so, I think the first thing it's a little bit, if you go in and you don't have a lot of information about what happens, obviously there are spring training games you can go to, and some people try to graph the games. I found that the games are a little bit, are a little bit less graphable in some of the stadiums in Arizona, at least, because that's the only place that I've been. I haven't ventured down to Florida, maybe one day. But I mean, I think the backfields and the complexes are really where it's at. I know in the Ranger ones, every time that I went, I mean, basically you got players walking from one field to the next, and you can, kind of stop them as long as you know who they are. I mean, minor league guys, major league guys. I got Vlad Guerrero out there, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, and so for me, most of the time, the better autographs you're going to get is not at the game fighting with a bunch of collectors, or graphers or whatever, but will be rather on the backfields if you can catch somebody at the right time.
Which ones from your experience have been kind of the best and worst spots there in Arizona? Again, I should also clarify that, this is going to be 100% Arizona talk. If you're tuning in for Florida talk, you're out of luck because I have not been there. Aaron, as he just said, has not been out there. So this is going to be all Arizona. So if you're looking for Florida, you might as well just go ahead and fast forward through here. But anyways, as I was saying, what were kind of your favorite and least favorite spots to graph there in Arizona?
So, I mean, the Ranger one was always really good, and that was the first 2 years, really, that's where I mostly stayed, because I was trying to get, the 2 teams that would eventually go to the World Series in 2010 and 2011. There's a lot of really big names on those, whether it be, Elvis Andrus, or whether it be, I think Chris Davis was still there before he, went to the Orioles and hit 1 million home runs and then struck out 1 million times. And then, we had Beltre, we had Ian Kinsler, we had, a bunch of different guys that were worth graphing. And and then also you had Nolan Ryan, who was just chilling on the backfields, and Greg Maddux was there, I think, one of those years. I never got him, but Pudge was around. And so it was definitely a lot of really, really significant baseball players just hanging out. And so I hung out at the Ranger one, and so that one was always really good. I heard that they'd clamped it down a little bit since the last time I had been there, but I'm not sure what the extent of that is. The other one that I really did the complex on was at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. We did the D-back side, and that one was really good too. Same type of thing. You've got players, coming from field to field, and you can and then they also walk out of the complex, or they did, back then. So you could really go and have a lot of access to them. And so if autographs is what you're trying to get, I mean, that's a pretty good place to start.
Arizona definitely has clamped down, at least last year. I didn't get a chance to go out to their facility at all. I did just the Rockies side there, but everything I'd heard says that for some reason their side has just gotten really locked out. I don't know if it's, the fact they were the National League pennant winners last year exactly or what, but yeah, I'm hoping to try it this year. I'll hopefully have an update on that one, because I know there's several guys that I need to get for them, but hoping for the best there, but yeah.
It may be also because they're the home team, it's like everybody who's a D-backs fan is there, most people. And so, they probably have to take a little bit of extra precaution that other teams don't. It's like there probably won't be that many Ranger fans on a year that they don't go to the World Series.
And that's another thing I've been warned about from people out there who graph every year too, is it avoid any games involving the D-backs, the Dodgers, or the Angels on weekends. I mean, those are all 6-hour drives or less. I mean, Arizona fans, of course, it's right there for them, but LA fans, it's like a 6-hour drive for them. So coming out there, leave on a Friday night and hang out there all day Saturday and Sunday, not exactly tough for them. So you're going to be battling some huge crowds out there for like the LA teams, maybe Colorado to some degree, Arizona, of course. But yeah, I've already told, I've got a friend that might be coming out there for a couple of days, and I told her, yeah, on Saturday, we are definitely going to be hanging out at the Kansas City fields. We're not going anywhere near the LA ones for that one. So
that's probably good. During the time that I was out there, the Giants were the crazy one, and now I never got down to Scottsdale, but you would just see, we flew into Sky Harbor, the airport there in Phoenix, and you would just have 100 Giants fans on your flight. You would see them all over the place. You're like, bro, I'm not doing anything Giants.
I will say that their post game or post practice spot is one of the best ones that I went to last year. So I've got high hopes for the Giants again this year. But going back to what you're saying with Adrian Beltre and Nolan Ryan, guys like that are out there, that's another great thing. Is that, I mean, if you take a really close look and deep dive into some of the teams' websites to see like who all works there with the teams, you're going to see some Hall of Famers out there. I mean, last year I was able to get Trevor Hoffman for one of them. Tony La Russa has been spotted out there a number of times at the White Sox camps. He still works in their front office. He's hanging out over near George Brett. He wouldn't even look at us, but I did at least go right near George Brett at least at one point. So he was out there at the Royals camp, and Mariners camp. You're going to see Ichiro possibly out there, newest Hall of Famer there. But he was out there last year. Unfortunately, I didn't get him. I heard of him signing a few times, though, at least out there. So you've got chances at least on a bunch of guys you might not have any chance otherwise of getting for free at all.
Right, it's funny because when the first year we went in 2010, I had no idea what I was doing or what I was going or what I was getting into. So I brought every card I owned. I had like 10 boxes of cards in the back of my car, and yeah, luckily my mom let me do that. I was not very old at that point. And, she let me bring all my cards because I was like, I don't know who's going to be here. So every card I got, I'm bringing it.
Totally unrelated. Well, okay, slightly related, but really not. That huge purchase we made 2 years ago of those cards at the Allen show, I might have something similar to give you a whole bunch of stuff on here soon, possibly once I get back from Arizona or something. But I'll tell you about it off the air. Just happened to come to mind to me right now when you mentioned, dragging all the cards out there with you. But yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So to go along with this, TTMing spring training, do you ever send out any to the facilities anymore? I know it used to be kind of a really good spot to be able to mail off to, but do you do any of that at all?
I really haven't the last, I don't know, several years, especially since COVID. I mean, COVID, kind of opened everybody's eyes to TTMing. And so they were just kind of getting bombarded during that time. But I mean, for a while there, like in the early to mid 2000s or, 2010s, I guess is when it was, I'd buy some Bowman and I'd just, send them off. And I mean, we were doing, I don't know, I mean, probably at least 50 a year. And then it got to be so hit or miss, and I was doing a lot of IP graphing. And so it just seemed, it just seemed to be like, if you can get in the same ballpark as them, it seemed like you had a little bit better chance than the hit or miss graphing that is spring training, Yeah,
I mean, hit or miss is definitely the best way to describe all that. I think I've gone through a couple last few years and looked on like sportscollectors.net to see, okay, what guys have signed during spring training the last couple of years. And okay, great. Let's, send off to these guys and send off 20 of them. I get 2 of them back. It's like, dude, why did you stop? And then you see these other guys who, haven't signed at all in 5 years, and suddenly, bam, they're returning 80% of what gets sent there. I'm like, I don't have the time or the postage to waste on, taking chances this much. I need something that's going to be, basically guaranteed. And spring training just becomes so inconsistent mostly. I mean, you go back 10 years ago and here his name comes again, Adrian Beltre. I got him TTM at spring training a couple back then. It was like, probably 2015 or thereabouts. Mailed to him again 2016, they rubber stamped it. So, it's, you never know what you're going to get there. And then other times you see a guy like, God, I can't remember the name now, but there's a pitcher for the Orioles, former All-Star. Can't think of his name now, but he would sign every single year through them. I'm like, all right, great, we'll send these off, and never got anything back from him. Then he gets traded to the Marlins. I got him in person with the Marlins. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Good enough. I'll take that. But yeah, it's just you never. It's just you don't know what you're going to get, and it's just not worth it to me. I mean, anybody out there that wants to try it, more power to you. I hope you get some decent stuff back, but yeah, I just can't get myself to do it now.
Yeah, you know what? I'm really kind of like that too. It's almost like the juice isn't worth the squeeze a lot of times. And so you could get lucky. We use the term lottery ticket a lot when we're talking about the new releases, and you got one card, and if it's a great card, then congratulations. And I mean that's kind of that's kind of the same thing that spring training through the mail became. And it's like there were people getting Vlad Guerrero back, and some people got him 2 or 3 different times, and nobody, and other people sent and didn't get anything. So it's really kind of a crapshoot one way or the other if you're gonna get anything. And yeah, a lot of times it leaves you feeling like you wish you had done better.
Right, exactly. Well, there you go. Hopefully that gives some ideas to people that are considering going out there to spring training. If you're considering mailing to spring training, anything like that. Hey, I mean, it's started up, might be worth a shot. It might not be. Who knows? But that's also why we're going to be off the next couple of weeks here from the show. I might have a few updates while I'm out in Arizona. We'll just do a few short little pieces in there. But yeah, I'll let you know how it goes. And with that, I think we've got that pretty well covered. Let's go on to Making the Grade.
Making the Grade is sponsored by CGC Cards. All card grading, all in one place. Certified Guarantee Company, CGC, devoted to the expert grading of collectible cards. Visit cgccards.com today.
Making the Grade is a summary of all things related to grading here in our hobby, and we've got some numbers that come to us from gemrate.com. Aaron, what do the big 4 grading companies have here from this past week?
All right, for the week of January 3rd through the 9th, PSA graded 334.1 thousand cards, which is up 2%. CGC graded 45.3 thousand cards, which is down 41%. SGC, this is a lot of letters, SGC graded 30.4 thousand cards, which is down 31%. And Beckett graded 12.2 thousand cards, which is down 1%. All in all, there were 422,000 cards graded the week of February 3rd through the 9th.
Nice job on the eye chart there, so yeah.
It really kind of is.
Yeah. Well, we've got some other numbers here from gemrate.com. These are exclusive to TTM Cast. It's what we call the Big 3.
This week's Big 3 is brought to you by gemrate.com. Whose cards are hot and whose cards are cold this week? Let's find out from our friends at gemrate.com.
The Big 3 covers individual player trends in grading and even down to the individual cards in some cases here. So we usually try to highlight one of those every week. Gemrate provides them to us once every week and does so exclusively to TTM Cast. You will not find these numbers anywhere else. Big 3 moving on up the charts in the grading world. Saquon Barkley finally winning himself a Super Bowl here this past week. His grading is up 61% from the previous week. Josh Allen, NFL MVP, up 51%, and Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl winning quarterback, up 42%. So a little evidence there that doing well on the field leads to doing well in the grading areas there as well. Saquon Barkley's 2018 Donruss base rookie card was up 150% over the previous week, over 50 copies graded across those big 4 companies. Also, Caitlin Clark, 4 of the top 5 cards graded this previous week. So Clark Mania is surpassing Wemby Mania in the basketball world there. So keep an eye out on that. Caitlin Clark stuff has started coming out around this time last year and still popular now a year later. On the other hand, Aaron, who's moving downward on these lists here?
It's funny, the last several times that we've done this, the up, the rising side of things, there's always been one that's like, oh, Frank Thomas is up 200%. It's like, for the first time since I've been doing this, it all makes perfect sense why those guys are on the upside.
Exactly.
Conversely, on the falling side, we have Blackhawk superstar Connor Bedard, who was down 13%. We have Orioles rising star Heston Kjerstad, who is down 18%. And Cooper Flagg, rounding out the list, is down 22% this week.
You mentioned Flagg last week. He was the big individual card riser there. So with that huge blast of cards, I guess it's not too surprising that he ends up falling back down a little bit here since he only got a couple of releases out right now. So there you go. Once again, a big thanks to GemRate for providing all of that info to us. You can follow them on Twitter and Instagram at GemRate. If you want to get really deep in the numbers, go and check out their website at gemrate.com, GEMRATE.com. Let's go ahead and move on now to the TTM Cast stamp of approval.
I bet you're wondering who earned this week's TTM Cast stamp of approval.
Well, stamp approval is just a chance for us to give our thumbs up to something, anything from the previous week. Sometimes it's sports related, sometimes it's collectibles related. Most of the time it's not, though, but kind of gives us a chance to prove that we're not just a bunch of sports and collectibles geeks, even though, let's be honest, we are. My stamp approval this week is somewhat collectibles related and goes to the website Signs365. That is Signs, SIGNS 365.com. The printing company, they pretty much exclusively work with, they don't typically work with like doing like individual sales stuff. You kind of have to be like a business or something to be able to get in and work with them and all that, or basically fake being a business like I do. But Signs365 are the company that printed up my Sweet Spot cards for this year. And I was told about them by a photographer friend who prints up some cards and stuff from photos that he takes of local high schoolers and such. And he told me, hey, yeah, check these guys out, see if you can get in with them. And I was able to. And I did my own Sweet Spot cards this year through them. And I think it was, you have to print in like multiples of 56. They print 56 on a page. And you can only do 56 copies of a single card. So if you're trying to get like an individual card of a player, well, too bad. You're stuck getting 56 of the damn thing. But for 56 cards, it cost me only $2 to print them. That's color. I think they could do color on both sides of it. They could do gloss on one side, no side, both side, however you want it there. I did mine non-glossy, both sides. Color on the front, black and white on the back, but they came out absolutely great. I absolutely love the fact I got these things for a decent price. So, it's a lot better than like the paying for the Sweet Spot cards from some of the companies that make their own and everything. I was able to do it myself here. And 56 of them for $2. And a flat rate of shipping for $10, no matter whether you're printing a single sheet or whether you're printing up to 100 sheets, I think it is. $10 shipping on it. So doing 15 teams plus one generic one, that's 56 cards for 16 teams. That is math I really don't feel like doing right there. But that ended up costing me, I think it was $42 total once you include the printing costs and the shipping and everything. So if you need bulk cards printed, if you want to do something like that, Signs365, I highly recommend them. And they get this week's TTM Cast stamp of approval.
And so for the first thing, don't sell yourself short, okay? There is no realer business in the United States than Drew Pelto, okay?
Okay, I did use TTM Cast on it when I signed up for it. So, I at least looked somewhat legit there with that. So I got that going for me.
Okay, even better than TTM Cast. Okay, so I was thinking about what things that deserve a stamp of approval. Okay. And like I said, we're on the road here and getting ready for our meet tomorrow in Cleburne. And so tonight, before we recorded this, me and my coaches, we went to Applebee's and I got myself some chicken tenders. Chicken tenders are fantastic. And I had to get a side of ranch because ranch is the most versatile condiment that there is. You can have it on pizza if you want. You can have it on celery. You can have it on carrots. You can have it on all sorts of stuff. Ranch is the best stuff. It makes everything around it better. So there you go. Ranch is the John Stockton of cost. That is what I'm saying. Leading the league in assists all day, every day.
And ranch is about as white as John Stockton too. So there you go. I will say, one of my favorite things to have in that a friend of mine, my first college roommate, actually got me hooked on for a bit, was if you mix a 2-to-1 mix of ranch dressing and ketchup for your fries. I know you can't do tomato at all, so you kind of counts you out on that. But something to consider for anyone out there who enjoys both those things. About a 2-to-1 mix of ranch dressing and ketchup, great on your fries. Definitely worth trying. You also go with hot sauce. Hot sauce works too. So yeah. So there you go. That's your TTM Cast stamp approval for this week. And with that, let's go ahead and take a look at this week's Fern Wrap Minute. The Vern Rapp Minute is dedicated to the memory of Mr. Vern Rapp, former ball player and Major League manager. Our show's founder, Jeff Baker, tried to mail off an autograph request to him and did not know that Vern Rapp had already passed away. And so we provide this as a service to all of the collectors out there to let you know if anybody has passed away in the world of sports, movies, music, celebrity in general, politics, anybody you might consider TTMing, if they have passed away and if they were known to be a good TTMer, we try to let you know that that has happened. Starting out this week, we've lost Ernie Kellerman. Ernie was a defensive back from 1966 to 73 for the Cleveland Browns, Cincinnati Bengals, and the Buffalo Bills. He was a 1968 Pro Bowler playing safety for the Browns. He had 19 career interceptions, one of which he returned for a touchdown. Kellerman was an excellent TTMer through September. I got him a couple times by mail and even met him back in about 1999, I believe it was, at a Browns reunion. He was 81 years old.
We also lost Dick Geron this week, who was 74. He was a defensive back from 1973 to 1980 with the Detroit Lions and also the Cincinnati Bengals. He was also a coach from 1999 to 2009 with the Chicago Bears and the Buffalo Bills. He was an excellent TTMer through November.
We also lost a Don Mumaw this week. That was a great name. He was a center and linebacker for UCLA from 1950 to 1952, later got into the College Football Hall of Fame. He was a first-round pick, 9th overall by the Rams in, I believe, 1953, and opted not to play in the NFL at all. He actually went into a career as a minister, and his reasoning for it was he didn't want to have to play on Sundays, so he decided not to go for the NFL at all, and ended up a long career as a minister. He actually, I believe, did the invocation at Ronald Reagan's 1980 inauguration. Don Mumaw was an excellent TTMer through 2018. Didn't sign much over the last 7 years or so. He was 93 years old. So if you've lost anyone this week, our thoughts are certainly with you as we move in to our TTM returns.
Was our mailbox full this week? Let's take a look at this week's TTM returns.
Well, finishing the show out with what we found in our mailboxes this week, and kind of a light week here as my stuff that I mailed out there at the end of the year in 2024 is all kind of starting to peter out now as it's all either come back or it might take a little longer, but I did at least get one of those back in this week, and it's a guy that I might have mentioned getting on this show before. I came across some more cards and I'm like, yeah, why not? Let's send these out, and that is Gus Frerotte, former quarterback for a whole bunch of teams. I know he's with Washington, and who else? Minnesota for quite a bit. I can't even think of all of them off the top of my head. I think he had to play for like 6 or 7 different teams, though. I know when I did my tried to cover the NFL and as few players as possible, I know Frerotte was one that I either put in that article or at least considered for it to go in there. But he signed 4 cards I mailed off to him. He's in Pennsylvania now, if I remember right, and it took about 6 weeks to get those back. But that's my only one for the week. But hey, at least it's not a shutout, so I'm very happy to report that one. Aaron, what do you got on your list there?
All right, so I actually did some stuff this week. And so I got both of these back the same day. So I got Haywood Workman, former Pacer, and that was in the you've heard us reference, and you heard Drew reference earlier, the gigantic lot we got from the Dallas Card Show about what's it been, a year and a half ago. And so I picked out 3 Haywood Workmans and sent them from that list, and he signed all 3, and so that was a good one. But the one that I'm most excited about is actually Marlin right now. Former Padres pitcher Adam Mazur signed 2 cards for me. He has a house, I guess, in Minnesota, and I actually missed out on him twice last year. Once when he was with the San Antonio Missions, and me and Drew were down there getting ready to graph the game, and they ended up canceling the game because of weather, inclement weather. And so I missed them there. And then I actually saw him in Salt Lake City, but he did not sign for me there when I was watching Mike Trout, Mike Trout's a rehab game in Salt Lake City for 1 hole at bat. And so he didn't sign for me there either. And so I was very happy to add him. He's on 2 of 2, probably in about 2 weeks or so.
Nice. So there you go. I mean, neither of us getting shut out, at least, even if it's a fairly light week there, but always good to go into a little bit of an extended couple of weeks off here with getting something at least to talk about there, and hopefully be able to gather in a few more over the next couple of weeks there to talk about once we get back in March. And that about does it for this week's show. Aaron, any other thoughts before we go ahead and call an end to this one?
No, I mean, obviously it's always great doing the show. I love to do it. It's super fun just talking about cards, a hobby that we all love. And getting to do it every week now is pretty fun. So I've enjoyed that. But also I do another podcast if you like gymnastics or acro or parkour or coaching, any of that. We have another podcast called Coach on Command. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, all of that good stuff. It is us talking about gymnastics from a coaching perspective. I think that's something that's not really talked about that much. And also we have a lot of fun and we make fun of each other. And so even if you don't like gymnastics and acro, then guess what? At least we're entertaining.
There you go. Go and check that out whenever you have a moment to, anywhere podcasts are found. And with that about does it for this week. Big thanks to Aaron for sitting into the co-host seat and to Ruthie for doing all of the production work for us to send this from our mouths to your ears. We're going to be off the next 2 weeks, so if you're looking for a show coming up on the 22nd or the 1st, well, too bad you're going to be listening to this one over again. So we'll be back after that, though. I might try to do some updates, like I said, while I'm out in spring training. I might try to, just a quick recap of what I got, how each day went, where I went, how the ballparks and facilities and all that were, but we'll see how that all goes. So there you go. I'll have those just kind of whenever I feel like putting them up there. So, hey, Ruthie, guess what? I'm just going to send them. I'm just going to surprise you with them there at some point during the week, I'm sure there. But so there you go. So you can always follow us on all social media. We'll have stuff posted up on there as well, I'm sure. And with that, we're wishing you many happy returns. We'll see you next week, actually in a few weeks, here on TTM Cast.
Everyone, be good.